and welcome to ITim number 20. I'm your host Tim Sarley, and today we're here at the new cafe in Shepparton called the Milkbar. It's located on the corner of Fryers Street and Corio Street, just diagonally across from the Shepparton TAFE. And we're here with the man with the Midas touch, Matt Innes-Irons. How are you, Matt?
Good, very good. Thanks for having me on, Tim.
Now, for those of you who don't know Matt, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and starting from what got you to Shepparton?
Do you want a little bit, or do you want the whole story?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
We haven't got too much time tonight, but you were born on Templestowe, grew up there, and then what got you to Shepparton?
After I finished my VCE, as it was back then, or HSC, I went to Dookie Ag College, and I was going to study horticulture, which I eventually did get into many years later. And I got asked to reapply back to college after a 2-year break. In other words, I had a bit of fun while I was out there when doing things I probably wasn't meant to do, but it was a great life experience. So that's what brought me up here in the first place, to go to Dookie Ag College.
And you mentioned before off camera your first taste in business. You were selling things to the kids out at the uni?
Don't selling things, they might take it the wrong way. No, I was actually coming into Shepparton and buying flagons of port from Philip Sellers when they were in Vaughan Street, and decanting it into bottles and selling it to the other students, and we'd have port and raisin toast nights in the shower block, so that helped put me through college and a bit of beer drinking money. Excellent.
So then from there you went to...
I chummed up Grant Hall, as in Valley Pack on the other side of Marupna. I chummed up with Grant and got a job there during the summer as a ganger, organising the pickers for a couple of years. And so I was just working, doing the picking season, and then I was actually travelling for the other 6 months of the year, which was a great life experience doing that. But then I'd sort of better start knuckling down. So I was put on as operations manager of the cool store complex, etc. But in that time, the Hall family also owned the freehold of 130 High Street, which was a restaurant as called Ray's Lantern Room, or the Lantern Room, with Ray's seat in there, and they were also partners in the business. And so I started working there at night time for a bit of play money under Ray's seat, who was a fantastic guy and a great mentor in the hospitality industry. Okay, and so that came up for sale and you purchased that? That's right, yeah. It came up for sale, and I was going to walk away from it because I was feeling tired, but then I stopped and thought, well, no, I've actually put a fair bit of work into the place to help build it up to where it was, and so I looked at buying it, and I didn't want to just do it by myself, and approached brother Min about the possibility of coming into the business. And Min and I, we had half a car together. Mum bought us an old VW Beetle for $300, so you were halves in that. We're halves in that, and we bought a house down in Melbourne back in the day, and we also did a lot of travel, so we knew we could work well together. And the long and the short is, Min said yes, he'll buy into it with me, and so that was around about 1986, I think it would have been, that we bought that, and had daiquiris, which... What made you change the name to daiquiris? Well, we wanted something which is in the now, as it was back then, and cocktails were very much in as a new wave cocktails, not the old-fashioned ones there as well. So it was vibrant. Tom Cruise style cocktail? Well, actually, it was before the film came out, and I do remember when the film came out, because your Sarley relatives who had the cinema wanted us to do a big cocktail night around there as well for the launch with Tom Cruise. But no, it was modern. It was something totally different again for Shepparton, with a deli style setup of foods in a display, but also the restaurant in the back. And actually, we're in the Age Good Food Guide, one of the first Shepparton restaurants to get into the Age Good Food Guide, which we're very proud of. Excellent. And so while you were doing that, you did a side business called the Tadong? We actually went over to the Tadong Tavern for a staff function. We all jumped on a bus, went over there, and when we were over there, we thought, geez, this is a great pub. And the publican said, well, it's for sale if you want to buy it. And a couple of days later, Min and I started having a chat. Well, let's have a look at it. So we took a partner in on that one, Brian Westcott, and had that for a couple of years at the same time as we had daiquiris. So I was looking after daiquiris, and Min was running Tattong, it was a great experience, great pub there too. And do yourself a favour, folks. Make sure you get over there during the winter time. Beautiful open fireplace with big logs in there, and it's a great place to visit.
Excellent. Yep. And so the big plan was the Aussie came up for sale while you had daiquiris, or?
Yes, it actually we got approached about buying the business there. We'd actually sold daiquiris at that stage, still had the Tattong Tavern, and so we sold Tattong to Binder. We're actually looking at putting a microbrewery in there. This is about 1991.
Yep.
And had a mate who set up the One U Institute. And he said, if you're fair dinkum about putting in a brewery, you should get over to the Interbrau in Germany, which every 2 years, I don't know if they're still doing that, but back then they did everything to do with brewing beer.
Yep.
CUB go there, and Miller and everyone throughout the world. So Min and I did go over there with the idea of looking at microbreweries, and we just didn't think Shepparton was quite ready for it then. But obviously now we've got 3 breweries here in Shepparton, so we're ready for it now.
Excellent. So you had the Aussie for 12 years?
Yes, 12 years, and look, it was a great business too, Tim, and like before us, the Phillips family had it for 35 years, and they were in the one of the top beer selling pubs in the whole of Victoria for many years. Back in the 60s, and they had the second longest bar in the world, only behind the Mildura Workman's Club.
Really?
If you have a look in the bottle shop, you can still see the ornate roof there. That's how long the bar went, all the way from Fryers Street
all the way through. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about that.
It was a great business, and I'm sure you actually invested a few dollars in there too.
I did indeed, yes, from 5:05 on a Friday night right through to 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I think.
God bless you.
So while you were there, you also invested in started your own winery.
Winery, yep. We had a good relationship with Mark and Peter Schultz from Longleat Wines down in Murchison. And so Schultzy, Min and I purchased a block of land on the old Hume Highway, 125 acres, and we planted 50 acres of Cabernet, Shiraz and Merlot grapes. And again, that was a great, it was great for us too. It was a bit of therapy to actually get down there and be on a tractor or do pruning or picking, didn't matter what it was, just to actually get away from the hospitality industry and do that too. So, and it was back when the grapes were bringing a good price as well. So we're very fortunate to be in there at the right time.
Yeah, yep. Well, they say you got to turn your own dirt, don't you?
Well, you do, and we actually did that too. And I tell you what, it's very hard yakka planting grapevines. Let me tell you that. But no, it can be very rewarding too. You're watching them grow and actually picking the fruit off and making wine out of it.
Your own wine.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's still there today?
It is, yes. Last time, I think it was called Ancient River. I'm not too sure who got it there, but it's just down from the Railway Hotel at Birch East on the old Melbourne Highway there.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out next time I'm going the back way to Melbourne. Why did you sell the Aussie? What made you?
Min and I had it was a 5-year plan, and after about 7 years, Min said to me, how many years have we been here? And I said, well, 7 years. He goes, what happened to our 5-year plan? So I think it just goes to show that if the business is still profitable and you're having fun. That you don't have to look at those timelines. And we've never really looked at definite timelines in doing it. But the time, we're there for nearly 12 years. And you might remember Scott Roberts, who played basketball over here. He was an American, came over here and played basketball with the GV Giants or the Gators, one of the teams back there, and they had a good team then. But he was also with the Secret Service. I probably shouldn't say that, should I? Anyway, Secret Service in America, looking after Gerald Ford, the ex-president. And he was looking for a bit of a change, and he'd married an Australian lass. And his coach, Russell Parker, came to see us and said, do you know of any country pubs for sale? Because Scott's looking at relocating back to Australia. And Min and I said, well, you can start looking here if he likes. And one thing led to another, so Scott ended up buying the pub, so which was good too, because 12 years is a good innings in an intense business like the
Aussie
pub these days.
And while you had that, Min was also over the road at Musk?
That's right. Well, Fredo Wells, and a lot of the viewers remember Fredo, and who was our head chef in all the venues that we did open up. And Fredo had taken that on, and then he needed a bit of a hand, and so we said, no worries, do that there. So it turned into the Must wine bar, because we felt there's a hole for a good wine bar in Shepparton. And yeah, so we had that for a couple of years, and it was a good business, but it also taught us a good lesson, Tim, that not taking your eye off the milking cow, off your core business as well. Like, saying that Min was primarily focused on the Must, and it was doing okay, but in the meantime, the Aussie was probably slipping back a bit to where it should be. And our accountant was quite adamant and said, guys, sell it and concentrate on what you're doing over here. So we did that. Min was a bit begrudging about it, but yeah, and that's what you do, Tim. You have good people around you, and you do listen to their advice. You might agree with it all the time, but listen to it, digest it, and then react to it.
Yeah, and Min had a bit of a story on the last night.
Oh, he did. Yes, Min, because it was more his baby than mine. And so he went around the night before, and he went over to all the pepper grinders with a plastic bag, and he poured the peppercorns in there, and he goes, hey, who's laughing now? So I don't know where those peppercorns are now, but he reckons we had the last laugh.
So Min, if you're watching, we want to know, if you can comment below, we want to know what happened to those the peppers out of that.
Well, just remember that I own half those peppercorns.
Matt wants his half back. So then, after you've done that, where'd you go into from there? Fryers Street?
Yes, we sold there, and the vineyard. We realised with the vineyard that either we get big or get out. When I say get big, we put in a restaurant, cellar door, a lot of infrastructure down there, had to run power through there, and so collectively we just made the decision to sell the vineyard, which, looking back, it was very much the right decision to make at that time, because the next couple of years there was a bit of a glut on grapes, so the prices actually fell. And then when we did finally sell the Aussie to Scott, we had probably about 3 months off each, which was fantastic, and I bought what was the Fryers Street Cafe, which is still over here, Fryers Cafe, and still operating. And also Min bought the Bojazz upstairs on Wyndham Street as well. So he was operating that and as a wine bar as well.
Right, okay. And so how long did you have Fryers Street for? 9 years, was it?
Yeah, had the Fryers Cafe 9 years, and again it was a very good business, breakfast and lunch every day. And I suppose what I'm a bit proud of is actually helping to create that breakfast culture in Shepparton. As it is still now, it's extremely popular to go out, particularly on the weekends, and have breakfast as well. So, pretty proud of helping that to get on the go. But also I suppose there are a lot of people, a lot of staff which have worked with us who, not just at Fryers Cafe, but also the Aussie, and watching them go on to do good things as well. It's heartwarming for me.
It's rewarding. Yep. Did you have any other businesses going while you had Fryers?
I've had a couple now, come to think of it. Had, Paul Phillips and I, still to this day, we've got a small wine business called Must Drink Wines, which we bring some wines in from New Zealand and sell those, retail and wholesale. Also Heathcote wine, which Guido Zola from Long Lake now, he made for us, which I think we've just sold about the last case of that. There's a 2012 Shiraz. Beautiful dropper was too, Tim. So had that on the go, and also the Snapper's Catering, which Glenn McCosh, that's commonly known as Snapper, he approached us back before we even opened at the Aussies. I'm talking 30 years ago. About coming to cook, and here we are together. He's still working there. So I've got Snapper's Catering, and of course we got knocked around big time with the COVID. March 20, I lost $16,500 worth of business just in that one week. That 1 week, and we had only one in July for catering, but now we're getting those inquiries back again now that people can start organising weddings and folks there as well. But it's a good fun business, Snappers, and he's a dag of a bloke, so I love working with him.
You've got a really good story about Snapper, and I don't know Snapper, but I've heard your story, how he persisted and kept knocking on your door, and how he got his chance with you.
He did, yes. It was back before we even opened at the Aussie, and he came in through the back door and introduced himself, Glenn McCosh, over from Maryborough with my girlfriend, and I'm a cook, not a chef, but I want to work here. And we sat down with him and said, well, look, we've got our kitchen organised, like I said, Fredo Wells. And a couple of weeks later, he came back again, and we said, look, we're still right, but thanks for your persistence. Excuse me. And the third time he came back, we'd actually opened up, and it was about day number 3, and our one of our chefs didn't tell us he had bad ankles, and because it was just go, his ankles seized up when we literally picked him up, put him in the car to take him to the hospital. 5 minutes later, Glenn McCosh walks in the door to sell his knives. He said, I'm flat broke. He said, I want to feed my girlfriend, I've got to have a feed myself, and I want to sell my knives to the chefs. And we said, well, put an apron on and show us what you can do. And he went like a thrashing machine, and we've been associated with Glenn Snapper McCosh ever since. And it doesn't matter if he's out at my place on the mower or Min's doing fencing, etc. like that. But now he's got the Snapper business and doing really well through that. So
great story.
He's a great fella, Snapper, and a lot of people would know him, and they wouldn't even know his name's Glenn McCosh.
Yeah. It's a good lesson to say the persistence that he had to keep knocking on the door, keep knocking on the door. It's really good.
Yeah, it is.
And so now you're here after that, all that.
Yep, that's right.
What made you open up a milk bar in the middle of COVID?
Well, it's called the Milkbar, but as you can see, it's a licensed cafe. Yep. And we wanted to introduce a modern twist to a cafe, and we called it the Milkbar because it used to be a milk bar for many years. Darvinese's had Darvinese's Milk Bar, and Cam and Ange Mangiamelli had it as a milk bar as well. Yep. But I suppose, Tim, that Chloe, my daughter, for those who don't know, she started with us at Fryers Cafe. Yep. Once she finished school, very hard to get out of bed, but then it wasn't too long before she was actually opening up and really got stuck into the coffee side of things. And she worked at GB Coffee, and then also Little Lippery for many years. And I said, how about we open up our own cafe? And she was a bit hesitant because she said, I like my holidays. I like having holidays. I said, well, you can have 6 weeks off a year. How does that sound? Ooh, well, that's okay. So it's basically what Chloe and her fiancé Sam talked about, what sort of feel they want to introduce to Shepparton, and I just kept nodding my head. No worries, let's go for it. So, and I'm just loving being back in hospitality too, Tim. I've got to tell you, it's
good meeting people and talking to people again.
Yeah, it is, and it's it just gets into your blood. Yep.
Now, out of all of your businesses, which one's been your favourite?
I suppose it's hard to actually say, but I suppose back in the day, daiquiris was so much fun, and there weren't as many rules and regulations as there are now, or maybe there were, but not as policed as they are, which I fully understand. Yep. I think the Aussie helping to make an iconic venue like that, particularly the likes of Carol's by Barrels. That's another one I'd really like to hang my hat on.
That was your idea, was it?
No, it was already existing to a small degree, but to actually be able to shut the road down and have a street party. I love doing that sort of stuff where you can close down a street and do that. And it's one of those events where all the Shepparton young would say to their mates in Melbourne, you've got to come up to Shepparton. You've got to come up to Shepparton for this. So that was a great business for its time there too. Fryers Cafe was really good, and I just want this to be the same. I want to, and when Chloe and I were sitting down with all the potential staff, we said, we want you to have fun. You've got to have fun and look forward to come to work in the morning, not just go, oh no, I don't want to go to work.
Exactly. So as I said before, at the start I introduced you as a man with the Midas touch, and so what's your secret to success, as they say?
A few people say that. They say whatever the inner signs touch, they turn to gold. But I'll tell you what, you've got to work hard to make it into gold. It doesn't just happen, and it's not just in hospitality, it's any business, Tim, as you know, that it doesn't just happen. You've got to have commitment to it. You've got to have that passion for whatever it is. And a person, one of my mentors was Bob Ansett, who used to have budget rent a car.
Yep.
And he was so focused on the customer all the time. He said that I'd rather be the best washer of cars rather than the second best dealer in renting cars.
Right.
And so he just wants to be, the best in
Whatever
in
he did, he wanted to be the best at.
Yes, that's right. Not second rate, and not taking any shortcuts. And people know when you're taking shortcuts, whatever business it is, and it's not worth doing, because if you're taking shortcuts, you've got to compromise somewhere, compromise with your quality of your product, or compromise with your service, and it's not worth doing. Customers can see through that, and they don't mind paying for good service and a good product. And it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah,
It could be buying a tractor.
What's your opinion over, a lot of people say that food comes first, give them great food and people will come, or some people say give them great service. Which one do you think is?
I'd prefer to go with the service part of things, and listen to the customers. If there is any problem, wait till there's a fly in my soup, or I didn't get the right sort of meal, you can sort it out straight away. But if you haven't got good service, you're going to be battling right from the word go. And good, friendly service, and and a natural
genuine service.
Yeah, natural, genuine service where you are interested in the customers' wants, what they are after.
Yep. I find it so funny when I'm sitting at a cafe that I have one coffee, and I sit there for the next half an hour waiting for them to come back and say, would you like another coffee?
Well, worse than that, Tim, is when they come and actually take the cup and walk away, rather than actually saying, would you like another coffee?
Yeah, and most of the time, if you get me at the right time, I'll have another coffee.
That's right. You might even have the third one. You might have that second glass of wine.
100%,
as well. And I say that to the staff there too, Tim, that if you get that second cup of coffee or that second glass of wine, we're not paying any more for the rent.
No.
We're not paying any more for wages. We're paying a little bit more for the product, but we're actually delivering a better service to that customer.
Yeah, 100%. If you leave it too long, then you've missed that opportunity.
You're gone. You're out the door.
Yeah. And then you have to get another customer in to sell. So, 100%. Now,
nice wine, that one too, Tim.
It's the rosé, is it?
It is. That's a Polytini rosé.
Is that one of yours?
No, it's not one of ours. But I tell you what, I reckon it's a great summer wine, a rosé. And
what's the name of your wine again?
We've got the Sugarloaf Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, but also the Roger Shiraz from Heathcote. So you get down to Phillips Cellars.
You can get it just at Phillips. Yeah, okay. Now you just mentioned about hard work. One thing you do is you go out and you grow your own produce here.
Yeah. I've got at my brother Simon's place towards Tatura. He and Robin established the huge garden beds when they set up the property, and so I've taken over about 6 of those, and we grow a lot of our own produce out there. So like heirloom tomato, the real rustic, ugly-looking tomatoes, but full of flavour. Vietnamese mint, Thai basil. Sweet basil, Greek basil, all those things. We've got purple carrots. We've just finished on those. I've got yellow zucchinis, which I'm picking tonight when I get out there as well. So we grow as much produce as we can, and stuff you can't really get through the supermarket. And so I'll go out there tonight after here and pick a load of the stuff, and then bring it in tomorrow morning. So there you go, guys, and what can you do with that? And then they just make up their own, what they can do with it today? Yep, they incorporate into as many dishes as they can. So it's something which we want to develop further. We've got a little herb garden out the back, which they like using, but all the stuff I can get out there, it turns up on the menu the next day. Great, so that's that reiterating around about the hard work. It's got to 6 o'clock tonight. You've been on your feet all day long, and now you want to go out and pick the veggies and the produce for tomorrow. Yeah, well, that's a bit of relaxation. Rather than sitting down with the newspaper and watching the news, I'd like to get out there and just pick up some stuff. Like asparagus has just finished there too. Having some of that fresh asparagus has been fantastic. The berries are all on the go. It's great. It's therapeutic. So it's a bit of therapy for you at the end of the day. It is. How do you go working with families? So you've worked with your brother for just about everything that you've done. And now you're working with Chloe. I know when I try to talk to my daughter and get her to do something, she's headstrong on doing things that she wants to do it the way that she wants to do. Yeah, well, how old's your daughter? She's 12. Well, yeah, I had the same problem when it was 12 there. Now I just do what Chloe wants me to do, so that's easy to do. Okay. No, it's great working with Chloe and with her fiance Sam, having that youthful exuberance to and it keeps me young as well. And I love working with the kids that we've got working here, and pointing out a few things. A little bit the old dog and the young dog. They might think I'm a bit grumpy at times there, but at the end of the shift, I explain a few bits and pieces there too. But no, it is. I'm very proud of Chloe and what she's doing. It's no mean task to, like I said, to open up during a pandemic and really not knowing what the destiny might hold as well. It is a bit of a gamble, but I've always been a bit of a gambler, and you roll the dice and you go with the odds, and you've got faith in it. It's going to work. Yep. So far, so good. Yep. And how did you go with men around? Who makes those decisions around? If there's a 50-50 each way, who gets the right away? 50-50, and we had that understanding between the two of us. We knew exactly where we're going. I think the only blue we ever had was one day he went on holidays for 2 weeks, and when he came back, I'd painted a wall of the Aussie bright red, and he's come back and goes, "What the hell is that?" I said, "It's called a power wall." And he goes, "I hate it." I said, "Well, don't take holidays again." So that was the biggest blue I think that we've had. So no, it's working with family can be challenging, but also can be so rewarding as well. Yep. Okay. Last thing, what's your number one tip around if you're doing a startup business or you're going into a business? I know we talked about having passion and having making sure you're working hard and so on. But what's your number one tip around making it work? And I think, Tim, having good people around you, and I don't just mean staff. I mean having
accountants and solicitors.
A good accountant, a good solicitor, good consultant. As well, having those people who and a good bank manager, that also helps. Yep. Good digital consultant. Great digital consultant. Got to have one of those. Yeah. But and it certainly has changed from our days back in the Aussie, etc. But having those good people around and actually listening to them and respecting what their opinions are on something, being able to talk to them one on one about it. There's you can have all that enthusiasm about it, but a lot of people go into just with raw enthusiasm and a little bit get blindsided by other things which might come along. So that you've got to have a good accountant who's switched on, good bookkeeping, someone who's got the finger on the pulse with that on a daily basis, not just getting to the end of the year and finding out that you're buggered. You've got to have it on a regular basis. Yeah, very good. So there you have it, guys. We could talk all day, and just wanted to obviously thank you for your time, for sitting down and having a conversation with me. You've gotten out of the cleaning, so luckily for that, Chloe had to do it all. There's a little bit more to do, so we might just extend it just a tad, a couple more minutes. Yeah, and so guys, if those of you who haven't been down yet, come and check out the Milkbar. Again, it's on the corner of Fryers Street and Coria Street, directly opposite from the TAFE. And get down and say hello to the guys. And have a glass of wine with me. Matt said he'll shout you a glass of wine if you mention this interview. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll do that, or a cup of coffee. Come in and see us. Well done, mate. Good on you, Tim. Thanks for your time. All right, thanks, guys. See you later.